everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we are going to be going over my top 10 books of 2025. This list was very hard for me to compile, but I think I've done a list that accurately represents the top 10 books that I had in 2025. I'm gonna be completely honest, books 10 to 6 are just thrown in a random order, but my top 5 are my definite top 5 of the year. So take books 10 to 6 with a grain of salt, but books 1 to 5 are definitely my top 5 books of the year and in the correct order. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the bottom of the list and work my way up so we can get to number 1 at the end. So in spot number 10 is one that I did not expect to make my top 10 books of the year, because it's definitely a book that is way out of my usual reading genre, but this is a book that I absolutely adored and I read it very recently, and that is The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I wanted to read this book because I saw the trailer for the movie and it looked really good, and I wanted to go and see it with my mum, and we are actually going to be going to see it on Friday of this week actually, as I'm filming this video. So I wanted to read the book before I went to see the movie, and I ended up reading this book for a reading vlog that is not coming out for a very long time. But I absolutely adored this. I did not think that I would enjoy this book as much as I did, but I loved all of the twists and turns that this story took, and I did not expect that ending at all. Like, I thought I kind of knew what was going to happen, but the second that ending happened, I was like, oh my god. Like, I was not expecting the twist this story took at the end. I had theories in my head of how this book was going to end, and I was not correct even in the slightest. This book was absolutely incredible. I absolutely loved this. Obviously all of the books in this video are 5-star reads for me. This book was just absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to read book 2 in the series, which is The Housemaid's Secret, which I do own. My mum got it me for Christmas. But this book, genuinely, just so goddamn good. I absolutely loved this book, and honestly, if you want to start reading thrillers, I think this is a very good one, because it's one that a lot of people seem to really love. But I am not an expert by any means, because, you know, I've only just started reading thrillers. So in spot number 9, we have one that I'm not even surprised that I absolutely loved. We have Nanny for the Neighbours by Lily Gold. I've been meaning to read Lily Gold books for such a long time. A lot of my friends really love Lily Gold books. And Alice rave about Lily Gold books. Like, they absolutely love this one and Faking with Benefits. There's a couple of other ones as well. And I loved this. I devoured this book so quickly. As you guys know, I tend to be quite a slow reader and I struggle to read physically. I'm starting to get more back into reading. Well, not physically, but like reading like without using an audiobook. And like I read more on my Kindle now, and I have read a couple of books like in the actual physical book. But I flew through this even though I didn't have an audiobook for it, and it was absolutely incredible. But yeah, no, so basically this book follows Beth, who lives in this apartment building, and she's kind of noticed her attractive neighbours, Jack, Cyrus and Sebastian, who live in the apartment above hers. And basically one day Jack randomly knocks on her front door and basically asks her for help. And what happens is a baby was abandoned on their doorstep, addressed to the guys in the apartment, and the baby was left there with a note on the baby carrier saying that it was one of theirs, and that the mum couldn't take care of the baby anymore. And yeah, so basically Jack goes to get Beth and asks her to basically help them, because they have no clue how to take care of a baby, and Beth is a nanny. And basically this is a why choose romance between Beth and all of the guys, and it's basically she becomes their nanny, and then feelings start to develop between all of them, and it's just so good. I love all of these characters, and genuinely this is just such a good story. I absolutely adored it, and I want to read more Lily Gold. And as you guys would have seen, Faking with Benefits is on my January TBR, so I'm very excited to read that one, because apparently that one is very good. Book number 8 on this list, we have Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the 4th and final book in the Natural series. I absolutely loved this series. I read the entire series this year and I read the book so quickly, but Bad Blood is definitely my favourite in the series. This book just wraps up the story so well. It wraps up all questions that I had throughout the series when I was reading it. It just makes everything make sense, and like I obviously can't really say much about this book because obviously it is the last book in the series, and obviously like if I say anything about this, it will spoil the rest of the series for anyone who wants to read it. But this story just beautifully wrapped up like the ongoing storyline that happens throughout all of the books, and it just helps you understand some of the characters better, and genuinely just it's absolutely incredible. I absolutely love this, and the Natural series is such a good series to read. I'm not genuinely a fan of YA books. I tend to not really enjoy them that much, but I have realised that I do quite enjoy YA fantasy books and also YA thriller books. So I want to have a look, see if maybe I can find some more like that, just because I've genuinely really loved this. Okay, next we have one that I've mentioned in a couple of different videos. I mentioned this one in my end of year book tag, and that is The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. I've said this so many times. I did not expect to love this book as much as I did, and that is why this book has gotten the number 7, I think it's number 7? Yep, number 7 spot on my top 10 books of the year. Genuinely, when I picked, like I said before, when I picked up this book, I did not expect to enjoy this as much as I did. I was just expecting to pick it up, to read it, for it to be fun, to be kind of like a quick, easy, like romance to read, and then I'd forget about it. I read this book months ago now and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. I absolutely adore this story. It's so funny and whimsical. It's got the perfect amount of magical realism in it. It's got humour. The main character is so fun and quirky and just really relatable. And just the way that this story plays out, I did not expect it to play out like it did, but it's just such a fun little like comedy romance, and like the ending of the book, I did not expect the ending of this book. I had the best time with it. I've not been able to stop thinking about this book since I read it. I do want to actually reread it at some point just because of how much I loved it. It's such a quick, easy, whimsical read, and if you're looking for something like that, I would definitely say pick up this book just because it's got the perfect amount of whimsy and humour, and it's just incredible. And then it has a very good little fun romance story in it as well. Okay, in the number 6 spot of this list, we have one that I absolutely adored this year, and that is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. This is book 1 in the Crescent City series, and I absolutely adored this. You guys know I love Sarah J Maas. I literally have an entire shelf dedicated to my Sarah J Maas books. So I'm not surprised that I absolutely adored this book. But I was a bit skeptical about reading this one, just because mainly all the books in this series so far are thick as hell. Like, these are some of the thickest books ever. But I absolutely ate this book up. And I was obviously a bit skeptical as well, because this is more of an urban fantasy than it is like your normal kind of, I guess you'd call them kind of like Regency kind of fantasies or something. I don't freaking know. Words are hard, all right? But yeah, no, this book was just so fun, so easy to read. I love Bryce and Hunt so freaking much. I love all the characters in this book, and after I read this I was so excited to read book 2 in the series. Book 2 I didn't enjoy as much as I did book 1. I gave book 2 a 4-star, whereas this one was obviously an automatic 5-star, but I'm still really excited to read book 3 in the series, which is House of Flame and Shadows, which is also on my January TBR. You can see it right there. But yeah, no, this book was just genuinely so good. It was so fun. I loved the characters. It obviously broke my heart within the last last 100 odd pages, because, you know, that's what Sarah J Maas does best. She gives you a false sense of security, and then she destroys you in the last like 100 pages of all of her books. So if you ever want to read Sarah J Maas book, just expect to be destroyed in the last 100 pages. It's a great time, trust me. But yeah, no, this book was absolutely incredible. I love this series. Honestly, I love all my Sarah J Maas books that I've read. Just absolutely incredible, and I can not wait to read book 3, and then I'm thinking we're getting the next book in the ACOTAR series next year, and well, technically this year as you're watching this. Words. So that was my like 10 to 6, where you basically just kind of had to take what I said with a grain of salt with what order they're in. But with these ones are my set top 5 books of the year. So in 5th place we have For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn. I've talked about this book enough. You guys do not need to hear me ramble on about this any more than I already have. I've spoken about this book so many times, and that is just because I absolutely adore this book, like with my entire heart and soul. And like I've said, I already had an attachment to these characters because I'm obsessed with this author's skit series that she does on TikTok, which is about the characters. But this book is obviously the prequel to that series, and just reading this and just having so much love in my heart for these characters, just reading their beginning of their journey before everything happened with everything else, just made me love it even more. I'm so excited for the next book in this. This is JC's debut novel, and it's absolutely incredible. This was such a 5-star read for me. I could not put this book down. It was such an anticipated release for me in 2025, and I'm really hoping that book 2 gets published in 2026, just because I need the next story, because the next story follows 2 characters who I love from the TikTok series, which are called Penny and Greg. This book follows Lily, and her love interest is called Beleth. Obviously, he's a demon, because this book series is set in hell, which, mwah, top notch, 10 out of 10. Also, it's a beautiful cover. It's a beautiful book. I have no words to describe my love for this book and these characters. But yeah, no, book 1 followed Lily and Beleth, and also this character called Sharky, who is a little kid, who basically, well, you'll read the book. But yeah, and then book 2 follows Penny and Greg. You meet Greg in this book pretty early on, but you don't meet Penny until the very end. And book 2 is their story of how like they got together and everything, and I'm very excited because I love Penny and Greg in the TikTok series. But yeah, really, really good book. For this next book, I sadly don't have this one yet. I've not been able to get my grubby little mitts on it because I haven't had a chance to buy it. But the next one on this list, in the number 4 spot, we have Gathered Sparkle by Blake Black. This is book 2 in the Glimmer and Gleam duology by him. And well, it's not a duology, it's a duet. Well, whatever. I don't freaking know. Words. Oh, God. I swear, the second I start filming YouTube videos, all words just leave my brain. Like, I forget that I know how to speak the English language. But anyway, as I was saying, the Glimmer and Gleam duet is a reverse harem. I swear, if one more car drives past my house and makes a lot of noise, I'm going to scream. Anyway. The Glimmer and Gleam duet is a reverse harem why choose duology that basically follows this character called Nova, who is a stripper, and she has a lot of trauma from her past, and basically you meet all of her love interests slowly throughout the story. We have Cohen, Alaric, Silas, and then there's one more whose name I can't remember currently because it's been a little while since I read this book, but it's fine. Like I said, words leave my brain as soon as I start filming. But no, this duology was just so freaking good, but the second one in particular, Gathered Sparkle, just was so incredible. I could not put this book down when I was reading it. It was just so fun. The characters were just so interesting. It's not like any other like reverse harem book I've ever read before, and just because of like the career that the guys are in is very different from what I'm used to, but it was just so good, so fun. I had a great time reading this duology and I'm just slightly obsessed. So in the number 3 spot on this list, with one that should surprise nobody, we have Rewind It Back by Liz Tomford. This is the 5th and final book in the Windy City series. We are getting a novella, but this is officially the final book. And the love I have for this series and these characters, I have no words to describe it. I love every part of this series. It's one of my god tier series. Like, I absolutely adore it so much. And I was very, very excited about this book because this book follows a character who you meet in book 1 called Rio. And he is very much, in a lot of the other books, the comedic relief character. He is always cracking jokes. He's always talking about how he wants to find love and fall in love with somebody and everything like that. And his friends have a lot of assumptions about him, none that are bad, just ones that aren't exactly correct. And he basically, his story basically gets rid of all those assumptions. And this book is a friends to lovers to strangers to lovers story. And just everything about this is so beautiful. I love this. I love the found family in this series. Found family is one of my all-time favorite tropes, and this series just does it absolutely incredibly. I cannot wait for the novella for this series to come out, which comes out later this year, and I'm just so excited about this, about it. But one thing I also really loved about this book is the dedication that's at the start of it, and I think it's genuinely one of my favorite dedications I've ever read. So it goes: "Here's to the 10 characters, 5 couples, 3 teams and 2 sets of siblings, and 1 amazing friend group that changed my life. This one is dedicated to you, the readers. Thank you for hanging out in Chicago with me." Just that dedication alone is so beautiful, and just this entire story was gorgeous. I love it. Also, I love the fan art in this book. Just Helly and Rio, such a good couple, one of my favorite couples of the year. I just absolutely love this book and I devoured it. Okay, and now we're on to my top 2 books of the year, and these 2 books were not hard for me to pick because these 2 books have been books that I have not stopped thinking about since I read them. They were absolutely incredible books, and they were just books that in general absolutely devastated me and made me feel just every emotion you can imagine. So in the number 2 spot, we have Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This is book number, I think, 6. Yes, book number 6 in the Boys of Tommen series. And this book is so beautifully devastating. I cannot describe the amount of heartbreak and emotions that I felt while reading this book. This book gives you a perspective on a character who in earlier books in the series you could dismiss as just a bitchy character, but when you read this book you learn so much about them. And honestly, getting the deeper insight into that character's story breaks my heart, and as low-key made her become one of my favorite characters in the whole series. So this story follows Lizzie and Huey, who you meet in the earlier books in the series, and just getting to understand their backstory, especially Lizzie's backstory and everything that she has gone through it and that has made her the way that she is in the other books, makes you realize that she's a lot more broken than is indicated before. She is such a beautifully complicated character, and I absolutely love her so much. She's one of my favourite characters that I've like ever read. I adore this book so much. I adore the entire Boys of Tommen series, but honestly this is one of my favourites now in the series. Well, this is one of the worst times of day to film because of the amount of cars. Anyway, this is one of the best books I read this year. It's honestly, I'm not surprised this is in my top 2. This was one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and I read this as soon as it got to my house. I absolutely loved this book. It's so good. It's so beautiful. It's definitely one you need to check your trigger warnings for, because it's just genuinely covers a lot of really dark, triggering topics, but there are also a lot of things that people deal with in everyday life. But yeah, no, incredible book. Just an incredible series, and I absolutely love this. Now, for the book that's in my number 1 spot of this year, is one that definitely deserves this number 1 spot, because this book has not been overtaken by any book at all. And I read this book in January. It's one of the first 3 books that I read in 2025. And that's why this book is my top book of 2025. So my top book of 2025 and my top book of the year is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. This is the final book in the Throne of Glass series, and this is the final book in the Throne of Glass series, and this is literally the 3rd book I read in 2025, because I started off the year finishing the tandem read, which is Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, and then I moved on to the final book in the series, which is Kingdom of Ash. And this book, the amount of devastation, heartbreak, joy, fear, just every emotion that you can freaking imagine, this book made me feel it. I cried. I wanted to throw the book across the room. I wanted to scream. I wanted to never read another Sarah J Maas book, because why would she do some of the stuff that she did in this book? But you know, I accepted the pain, and then this book became my favourite book of the year, and I absolutely love it. I want to reread the entire Throne of Glass series, because this entire series is just honestly one of the best things I've ever read. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best series I've ever picked up. It's just so freaking beautiful. But it's okay. I'm not going to cry. But yeah, no, this is a 6-star read. This is just absolutely the best book I read this entire year. It was so good. Honestly, it beat every other book I read in 2025. And at the point I'm at right now, I've read 96 books. So this has beaten 96 books. And that just proves how much this book is so incredible. And it's just such a phenomenal book, and I absolutely adore it. But yeah, no, with that final book talked about, that is my top 10 books of 2025. I had such incredible reads this year, and it was very hard for me to pick my top 10 just because I wanted to pick so many books. I had so many incredible reads this year. Honestly, I wanted to just add all of them onto this list. Like a couple of honorable mentions are Power Shift by Hannah Cowan. This is a book that I picked up randomly because I saw it on TikTok. Genuinely absolutely ate that book up. 5-star read, absolutely good, absolutely incredible. Mwah. We also have Game Changer and Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. I've been obsessed with the TV show Heated Rivalry, and honestly those 2 books are absolutely incredible. I'm currently on book number 4 in the series, and I'm eating this entire series up because it's absolutely phenomenal, because it's been just such a good book series to read. But yeah, no, and also obviously I reread Binding 13 this year. That's obviously always going to be in my top books. Also The Charlie Method by Al Kennedy. This was, well, actually the entire Campus Diary series by her was just absolutely incredible. I absolutely love the Campus Diary series. It's one of my favourites, and I read the entire trilogy this year, and it was just so freaking good. And yeah, no, I just had some really incredible reads this year, and I've absolutely loved honestly the majority of the books. I've not had many bad reads this year, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, no, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my top 10 books of the year. If you would like to drop your top 10 books of the year in the comment below, I would love to hear what other people were reading and maybe give me some suggestions of what I could read in 2026. But yeah, no, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe and hit that little notification bell below so you know when I upload. I upload every Wednesday at 5 p.m. with a video like this, and every Saturday at 4 p.m. with a reading vlog. But that is it for today. I will catch you guys next time.